Good evening, councillors, members of the public here and at home, members of the media. Calling to order the monthly council meeting agenda of council meeting of January 16th, 2023. I would look for a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Councillor Adams, second. Councillor Gallant. Any changes, additions, variations? Oppositions? Hearing none, the agenda will proceed as follows. Land acknowledgement. The land upon which we are gathered here today is the traditional and unceded territory of the Abakwa Mi'kmaq First Nation. Land recognition is an important step in the process of reconciliation with First Nations peoples across the city, this province, and this country. Conflict of interest declaration. Any councillor with a conflict of interest to declare prior to this meeting with respect to anything on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move ahead to item 2, approval of meeting minutes. We have 5 sets of minutes to approve. Just a note, you had to be at the meeting in order to move or second or vote to approve those. First, 2A, monthly council meeting minutes of December 19th, 2022. For a motion, Councillor Duran. And second, Councillor Snow. Any opposition to that? None. Those minutes are carried. On to the next one. Special council meeting minutes of January 10th, 2023. Councillor MacDougall and Councillor Morrison. Any opposed or changes to that? Hearing none, those are passed. Committee of the whole meeting minutes of January 10th, 2023. Motion again. Councillor Ramsey. Second from Councillor MacDougall. I'll take that as, yeah, I saw your hand go up if you were drinking your tea. Any additions, changes, variations? Hearing none, those are carried. The in-camera minutes of January 10th, 2023. Keep them coming, folks. Councillor Gallant, second. Councillor Duran. Anyone opposed to those? Hearing none, those are carried. And the planning board meeting minutes of January 12th, 2023. Councillor Ramsey. Councillor Duran. That is good. Planning board members would need to be the ones. Anyone opposed to those minutes? Hearing none there, those are carried. We can move along. One of the new additions we have to our council meetings are accolades and recognitions, the opportunity for any councillor to want to recognize any thing happening in the community in which they're supportive or want to recognize. If there are any councillors tonight, yeah, Councillor McColeman, you're up.
You want us to stand or sit?
You may do as you please.
Okay, I'll dance. No, I just had the monthly liaison meeting with the Summerside Christian Council. A few things that I want to tell people. There's going to be a 5th community breakfast added, which I think is really, really important. Feed My Sheep, which most of us know about, that is going to be held on the first and third Saturday at St. Mary's Anglican, as well as on the 2nd and the 4th Saturday, Trinity United Church, and then there's a 5th one being added on the 5th Saturday of the month, and that's going to be through St. Paul's. As well, I want to thank all of the different churches within the community. They did a beautiful free Christmas dinner. They had a really big attendance from many residents within the community. And the other thing that they are doing that I really wanted to update on is that through Chaplain Paul Wilkie, the visiting hours certainly are now opened up at the hospital. And the final point is that the council, they're doing a food audit. They're doing a list of all of the different groups that are providing community fridges, foods available, and they haven't got it ready for the open part yet, but they're getting a list of all of the names and contacts so that we as a community will know what is and isn't available and where there might be a shortfall. So I just wanted to mention that and thank them for all that they do.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Ramsey?
Yes, I would just like to take a moment to let, council is aware, but to let the residents of Summerside know, and my own residents in Ward 3, that I have put my name forward to run in the upcoming election for nomination here. So I'll be on council. I'll continue to stay on in my seat here until the election is called. Then I will take a leave for the 28 to 32 days, whichever it is. And if I get the seat, I will move to Charlottetown. If not, I'll come back here and with pleasure continue to serve my residents here in Summerside. Just wanted to make everybody aware.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Ramsey. And good luck.
Thank you.
Councillor MacDougall.
Thank you. I just have one thing I'd like to, the Lions Club in St. Elmers are having an outreach dinner on noon on the 26th. So they just, that's for seniors, anybody that wants to come, somebody that's lonely, whatever, just drop in. We're having some soup and crackers and whatever, and some entertainment. So if anyone out there feels like they want to drop around, by all means do so. No, it's just it's a dinner, but it's eating. Yeah, yeah. It's noon on the 26th. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor. Any others? Seeing no lights on, we will move to public presentations, petitions, delegations. There are none scheduled for tonight. Item 6, appointment to committees. There are no new appointments this evening. Item 6, introduction and reading of bylaws and resolutions. 6A, we have resolution COS 23-001, 105 Industrial Crescent, restricted use. This is going to be moved by Councillor Duran and seconded by Councillor Gallant. And Councillor Duran, if you want to read the motion forward, and then we'll have a vote.
Sure. This is, I guess, the result of our first planning board meeting on the topic, as well as the special council meeting that was held. So I'll just read this into the minutes here. Resolution COS 23-001, as you mentioned, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Gallant, whereas an application was received from Sharon Kwan for a restricted use to allow a spa service in the existing main building at 105 Industrial Crescent, PID number 538884, in the light industrial M1 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. And whereas the existing main building at 105 Industrial Crescent contains other established businesses, be it resolved the council approve a restricted use for a spa service in the existing main building at 105 Industrial Crescent, PID number 538884, in the light industrial M1 zone under the City of Summerside zoning bylaw. This bears the recommendation of the planning board meeting of January 12th, 2023.
Thank you, Councillor. We'll now call for a vote on the resolution. All in favor indicate by saying aye or raising your hand. Aye. All opposed? Hearing none, resolution COS 23-001 is carried by council. 6B, we're good? Great. Resolution COS 23-002, nomination for SCM Board of Directors will be moved by Councillor MacDougall and seconded by Councillor Morrison. Councillor MacDougall, do you want to read it in?
Thank you, Your Worship. This resolution gives me great pride to stand to read this resolution. Being a member of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities since 2007. It's moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Rick Morrison, whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, FCM, represents the interests of member municipalities on policy and program matters that fall within federal jurisdiction And whereas FCM Board of Directors is comprised of elected municipal officials from all regions and sizes of communities to form a broad base of support and provide FCM with the united voice required to carry the municipal message to the federal government. Be it resolved that Summerside City Council endorse Deputy Mayor Corey Snow to stand for election on FCM's Board of Directors for the period starting in January 2023 and ending at the FCM Annual General Meeting in May 2023. And be it further resolved that Council assumes all costs associated with Deputy Mayor Corey Snow attending FCM's Board of Directors meetings.
I'll put the resolution to a vote.
Yep.
All in favor of the resolution COS 23-002, please indicate by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the resolution as presented is carried. Thank you very much, Councillor MacDougall. Good luck, Councillor Snow. Moving into reports, Section 7. 7A is Finance. Councillor MacDougall, you are up to present a report for Finance.
Thank you, Your Worship, and good evening, my colleagues on City Council, to the residents and businesses of the City of Summerside. This report has been prepared by our Director of Finance, Kristen Dunsford. The preparation of our 23-24 capital and operating budgets is well underway, and Council will begin their deliberations in late January. We expect to present this budget to our businesses, nonprofit organizations, and residents on Thursday, March 9th at 12 p.m., and vote on the budget on Wednesday, March 29th at 12 p.m. Preliminary financial results for our fiscal year ending March 31st, 2023 are projecting a small consolidated surplus of approximately $53,000. This compares to our budgeted surplus of $6,746. We continue to review our projections with the individual departments. And a reminder to nonprofit organizations who were approved for a community support grant for the fiscal year 2022-2023 to submit their final report, which were due on December 31st. Thank you for those organizations who have submitted theirs by our deadline. Now for an update on the status of our utility accounts receivable. As of January 11th, 2023, the following is being reported. Total overdue balance is $210,200 compared to $167,900 on December 14th, 2022. Approximately 11.1% or $23,000 of the overdue balance is greater than 60 days past due. This compares to 10.8% or $18,100 on December 14th, 2022. Customers who have outstanding balances and have not yet requested a payment arrangement are strongly encouraged to do so. They can contact our financial services at 902-432-1230. Our collection process continues with overdue notices being generated and mailed to customers. We encourage customers to sign up for the utility customer portal and budget billing program. Please see our website at www.summerside.ca, or you can email us at customerservice@summerside.ca or call us at 902-432-1230. Thank you for the opportunity to present this report, and either myself or Director of Financial Services are available to take questions.
I just have a question, Councillor, regarding the nonprofit organizations who were to submit their financial reports. When were those supposed to be?
By December 31st.
December 31st.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's important that they get them in so that they can be on
Yes, that
for
is
next.
correct.
Yeah, okay, just so they know how important it is, I guess, yes, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No, that's all I have, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Technical Services, Councillor Duran.
All right, thank you again, Your Worship, and welcome everyone. I'd like to thank Aaron MacDougall, Director of Technical Services, for preparing the report again this month. We have closed out the 2022 construction season, but a number of private construction projects still continue throughout the winter. Staff are working on the 2023 capital budget items while wrapping up the paperwork from this year's projects. Staff will also start designing our portion of the 2023 capital projects to have them ready for spring tenders and May construction starts. 7 building permits with a value of $34,000 were issued for the month of December, with a total year-to-date of 214 permits and a value of a little over $47 million. The actual total permit value was considerably lower than our record of $74 million from last year, but $47 million was still way above our previously yearly average of around $27 million per year. Last year that we had topped $40 million just 4 times in the previous 15 years. So this year's total of $47 million is another one of those 40 million plus years. So it's a great sign of growth in our city. In summary, we have permitted 789 housing unit starts in the last 5 years, from 2018 to 2022. Those range from single family, semi-detached, duplex, apartments, row house, townhouse, and mini homes. And that concludes the monthly report for January 2023. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to ask or answer. If I can't answer them, I'll ask somebody who can. And if not, I do have one more item just to mention. Just wanted to give notice that I guess at the next monthly council meeting in February, I'm going to be bringing forward a resolution with respect to the Premier having just called for the federal government to lower the tolls on the Confederation Bridge. So he'd like them to lower the tolls by 60% by September. So I'm going to bring a resolution forward in February to hopefully council will support it, but it's going to be for that we're kind of behind that decision, and we're going to call on other councils in the province to do the same. So we'll get the wording tidied up and introduce that sometime in February and go from there. Just as a sign of our support for that initiative.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. We look forward to that.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
And
Your Worship.
hopefully your success in that endeavor. It certainly won't hurt. Moving on to 7C, Councillor Snow.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to thank Director Mike Thuska for preparing the report. Labor force recruitment for the month of January. Summerside EDO is collaborating with industry to fill roughly 400 existing positions in Summerside. We continue working with regional universities to tap in and create awareness of labor opportunities in Summerside. We're also working with the Department of Immigration to tap into more global recruitment plans as part of our outreach, as well as enhancing our general awareness with the labor supply options. As mentioned last month, the Business Retention and Expansion Survey was completed. The department has completed the survey, and here's some of the highlights. Over the next 12 months, 41% of businesses surveyed expect to hire more employees. 5% plan to decrease. So overall, looking like we're going to increase our employees. Over the next 12 months, 57% of businesses surveyed expect higher revenues. 83% of businesses surveyed would recommend Summerside to other businesses looking to expand or relocate. And an overall satisfaction score of 774 is what we achieved, and the Canadian 5-year average is 754, so we're scoring higher than the Canadian average. Lastly, the Economic Development Association of Canada Annual Conference. The planning has begun in earnest for the Economic Developers Association of Canada National Conference, where we anticipate over 300 delegates from all over Canada and the globe descending on Summerside for their annual 5-day conference. So that's going to be a great addition to Summerside and the economy here. So that's the January monthly report from the Economic Development Office.
Thank you, Deputy Snow. Moving on to D, Councillor McColman, representative for Arts, Culture and Diversity.
Thank you, Your Worship. The following report captures the highlights of Culture Summerside's activity from December to mid-January. I'd like to thank Director Laurie Ellis for preparing the report. White Heritage Properties Incorporated and Culture Summerside, they presented the Magic of Christmas exhibition at the Lafergie Cultural Center, as well as any ticketed nights at the White House Museum. During the month of December, the program celebrated the history of the long-standing tradition of the Christmas tree and offered the community an in-depth look at White Museum with curatorial, staff. The combined attendance was 809 participants with visitorship, which was made up of school children, teachers, chaperones, and general visitors from all over PEI. Extra open hours were arranged to correlate with the Yuletide Village set up at Memorial Square. As well, the department is working on deadlines which are being met in the area of grant writing, proposals, and reports, and they are all being submitted to the government organizations pertaining to past programming and proposed programming for this coming summer, fall, and winter of 23-24. Culture Summerside staff are preparing for Heritage Week activities, and Culture Summerside staff, Marlene Campbell and Lady Slipper Rug Hooking Guild organizer, Linda Marchbank, are currently reviewing last-minute details pertaining to a rug hooking workshop scheduled at the Summerside Interpretive Center January 17th. All 3 floors of the center will be transformed into workshop space for participants learning the art of rug hooking, which is certainly a lost art and a really good skill. Culture Summerside has started to install interior storm windows in our heritage buildings. These magnetic insulating panels improve the windows' thermal efficiency while also providing museum quality UV protection for the artifacts. And just in closing, I will be meeting for just a very informal meeting tomorrow with Director Laurie and staff, just for some general information on their upcoming projects and planning for the summer. So that concludes my report. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Councillor McColman. Councillor Adams, Representative for Governance, HR and Communications.
Thank you, Your Worship. This evening, I don't have anything for communications, just an update that myself and CAO Gordon, Deputy CAO JP are getting together on Friday with the mayor. I believe you're attending as well, just to sort of work out some expectations on what residents and council are looking for when it comes to communications with the residents in the city. So stay tuned for that. I do have human resource information, the monthly report. The Joint Occupational Health and Safety Committee, as well as department subcommittees, continue to meet on a regular basis. Training is being offered for staff for first aid, CPR, and AED. The department has provided support at various meetings this month. A review of the city's occupational health and safety program is ongoing, and updates being made as they are required. Planned staff events include workplace wellness programs, smoking cessation lunch and learn, and a Participations Move for Your Mood challenge. Welcome to Cody Dunn. Cody has started this week as the GIS tech, and competitions are currently underway for a wastewater treatment plant operator and police constable. So, and those are both posted on the city's website if anybody's looking for information on those. That's all I have for.
Question, Carrie? I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just regarding the communications, you guys are meeting on Friday, so I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you, yeah.
Yep, we're meeting with CAO, Deputy CAO, and
Yep.
just sort of starting over, just sort of to get our feet under us to see what we've been hearing from residents, what staff are thinking might be some good ideas, and then we'll start from there. So it's our first time we've gotten together since the new council. So we're just gonna see what everybody thinks we should be doing and where we should be going, and then of course everything comes back to council as it always does for decisions. But
And that's kind of what because I know council has lots of ideas from our residents and what we're hearing, regarding communication. So I was just hoping that it was going to come back to us and we'd at least sit around and have a discussion and see where we go from there. Great, thank you.
Certainly, I think right now, tentatively, that'll be on for our committee of the whole meeting in February and/or March, depends on where we get to this week for the communications piece. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Moving on to, Councillor Ramsey, you can keep her going. Emergency
it going
services.
here.
You bet,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So emergency services, emergency measure services, we haven't met in a while, and maybe that's something, Your Worship, that we can probably sit down and maybe have a meeting, sometime soon. Everything's in order. Things have been going really well there, but maybe we try once a month maybe to sit down and meet, so maybe we can do that sometime. So I don't have an actual report on it, I guess, so that's... But I do have the fire service report for December 2022. Report was prepared by Ken Culleton. Thank you, Ken. There were 27 calls paged out during the month of December. 8 were medical first responder calls, 8 alarm panel calls, a structural fire, carbon monoxide fire, outdoor fire violation, 1 false alarm, 3 cancel calls, and 4 miscellaneous calls. Firefighters were very busy for the month, but only spent 26.5 hours training, which is very different for them. They usually spend hundreds of hours with everybody combined, but anyway, they were busy with other things for the month of December. The final tally for the Santa Claus Parade was over 100 floats, so that was very successful. It was an awesome parade, I hear. When you're in it, you don't get to see it, but everybody was saying how fun it was, and lots of music and lots of upbeat floats. And there was $9,200 raised from the sponsors, and it was given to families in need at Christmas time. So Salvation Army, St. Elmer's Lions, and Kinsmen were presented each with an equal check. So Chief Inman recently escorted Dr. Morrison and Santa, along with myself and Chief of Police Sinclair Walker, on a trip to the Prince County Hospital and Somerset Manor. So thank you to Dr. Morrison and Santa Claus for coming up to Summerside. And they were supposed to come in on a helicopter, but it was a bit windy that day, so we took them up in the fire truck, and they enjoyed that. We had lots of fun. Summerside Fire Services just wrapped up a very productive emergency measures operation tabletop meeting. And so it's nice to see fire services on top of that as well. We know that the departments are working on their own to stay on top of things as far as emergencies are concerned. And many milestone awards were given to the firefighters during their annual Christmas and awards banquet. And I'd like to congratulate all of the firefighters on the awards that they received for that evening throughout the year. That's my report for fire services. And if everything's good, I'll go right into police services. Now, I know last month during the meeting, we talked a little bit about the SRO, the police officer up at Three Oaks, and there seemed to be some confusion on that. So I have a full report on what took place at police services over the last number of months. And it's important for council to know, and it's also important for the residents to know, and your worship. So I'm going to read the report, and if there's any questions, I may be able to answer them, and if not, I will get the answer for you, okay? So Summerside Police Services has recently changed its structural model to better accommodate the needs of police services and the community as we move into 2023. Historically, we have relied on a model that staffed our shifts with a set number of officers during the summer months and a reduced number of officers during the winter months. This model was no longer feasible for a number of reasons. We no longer and have not had a slow season for at least the past decade. The influx of drugs and mental health issues in our community has seen it that our members are facing the same workload year-round. The demand and more complex investigations that we ask our officers to perform means more time spent not on patrol and not on answering the calls for service that continue to come in, which increases the workload and stress levels on each officer. The result of this is that we are driving our officers towards burnout and also placing them and the community in unnecessarily dangerous situations. Over the last few years, we have lost a number of members, some to retirement, others to other police agencies, and some have left policing to try their hand at other careers. These vacancies were becoming increasingly harder to fill. Like most industries, policing across Canada is in the midst of nationwide staffing shortage, and there is a significant competition for every available body. Our previous model relied on a pool of 6 part-time police officers that could be used to fill vacancies. Given the demand for police officers nationally, trained police officers no longer have to accept part-time positions. That comes with no part-time positions that come with no benefits, pensions, etc. We recognize that our model of policing had to change in order to accommodate the demands of the public, the courts, and to ensure the health and safety of our members while still delivering the excellent level of service that the public has come to expect. We also had to become a more attractive police service in order to recruit and retain members to fill future vacancies. We drafted a new policing model that we felt better serves the community, positively benefits the safety, moral, and performances of our members, makes us a more attractive place to work, and improves the level of service we provide to the community. Our new model of policing is highlighted by the following changes. The consolidation of our 6 part-time positions into 3 new full-time positions, additional staffing on each patrol platoon year-round, 2 new positions dedicated solely to traffic enforcement, 1 new position in the major crime unit, return of the school resource officer crime prevention, return of the school resource officer crime prevention officer. So that position has 2 titles. That officer will be working in all of the schools, also in the community, with the seniors and less vulnerable. And so that position is going to be a year-round position now. We are still in the midst of filling some of the positions. However, the traffic section has been operational since early December 2022, and we have seen a substantial increase in traffic enforcement. And every single councillor in this room over the last 4 years, month after month, we would be talking about traffic and speeding and, violations. And so it's really nice to finally have this in order and have it in place. And for the next 4 years, we shouldn't be getting those same calls. Our patrol platoons are fully staffed. The SRO crime prevention officer has begun their duties. It's her duties on January 3rd, 2023. She will be servicing all schools within the city. Currently, we enjoy funding from provincial and federal governments to offset costs associated with the 3 of our full-time positions. We are currently working towards extending these agreements in the coming year. That's my report, and any questions can be directed to myself, Chief Sinclair Walker, or Deputy Chief Jason Black here.
Sorry. So what's the total of new, I know that you took 6 part-time and had went to 3 full-time. And then, was there more besides that?
Well, they just changed up the,
Yeah, that's, yeah.
so it doesn't look like there is.
Yeah, that's, no, I was just, yeah.
We get money from crime
Yeah.
prevention, we get money for all sorts of reasons
Yeah.
through police services,
Yeah.
and they're putting that money into the services,
Okay.
so,
No,
yeah.
it sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I had the same question, just wondering if there was added positions or just a restructuring of current positions.
Yeah.
And then just the other, I guess, I don't know if it's a concern, because I have strongly believed we needed a traffic division and more patrols within our city, but just how we are currently enjoying funding from provincial and federal governments to offset the costs. And it doesn't seem like anything is set in stone for future. So I'd just be concerned that if that funding was to drop off,
Yes.
how it'll affect
policing levels moving forward, and are we creating something we can't sustain? But hopefully that doesn't happen, and provincial and federal governments are behind us financially to help.
I think I have a fair idea. They know what they're doing over there. But the bylaw officer is also something we talked about, or the SRO is something we talked about utilizing in the summertime as our bylaw officer as well. So they have lots of ideas. That isn't in here, but that is something that we did discuss over there. And I do think that's a plan as well. So kind of kills two birds with one stone, and yeah. But anyway, Deputy Mayor, if there's anything I can find out for you, I certainly will.
No, the only question would be around the funding and how we can secure it longer, that's all.
Yeah, yeah, okay, thank you.
And one more here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Councillor?
No, that's, no, just fantastic that we were able to convert those 6 kind of floating around part-time positions to 3 new ones, and all the
People were
benefits
tired.
that come with it. And the traffic enforcement unit was, I think, highly well received. I'm not getting as many complaints for speeding or anything. I guess I just had one question, and it was just has to do, again, with sort of the funding. What kind of, and it might be a question for Kristen, the contributions that we're getting from the province and the federal government, is it like a 33% thing, or is it just sort of some funding to offset?
I'll let Kristen, because it comes in different ways.
Yeah, we currently have 3 programs that we're receiving funding for. Mobile Mental Health Crisis Program, Guns and Gang, and Detection of Drug Impaired Driving. And they each have different components, whether it's equipment or staffing, and at different levels.
Okay. So it all goes towards helping, just like it says, offset the cost to us.
But they all do expire. The mobile mental health one expires in September of 2023, and the other 2 expire on March 31st, 2023.
Okay. Is that something that we apply for, and there's only so much to go around?
I know that Police Services has been negotiating for the drug impaired driving.
Right now.
I
yeah.
believe they're looking at signing an agreement
Yeah.
for that one.
Interesting. No, that's great news all around. So just was curious as to kind of how that's divided up. So thank you.
And I think there is money that comes through crime prevention as well, which is a 4th one, you know.
Yes,
so,
that is correct. They're funding half of that position.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey. Just to note, we did include some of that in our pre-budget submission to the province of PEI, identified those as potential funding concerns. The city did submit a pre-budget submission to the province, and that should be available publicly through the provincial website if it, by now, if it isn't yet. It certainly will be. Moving to 7G, that is Community Service and Tourism, Representative Morrison.
Thank you, Your Honor. Worship.
I'll take either, right? I'll take either.
Doesn't matter.
The first one in my law class.
Community service report. The Parks and Green Space Division kept busy in the month of December with many installations, including the Lights for Life display and Christmas decorations across our city. Tree maintenance and removal as a result of Fiona continued, while their focus started shifting towards getting outdoor winter facilities ready for active living programming. The preparation has also begun for the setup of the woodlot management plan, and the Tower Street Park equipment was temporarily removed to allow for development in the area. Furthermore, the Summerside Dome kicked off the indoor wedge golf program, which has had a successful start to date. Baseball PEI, softball PEI, rugby PEI, and many more provincial and association bodies have begun their winter programming and training. To cap it all off, the Dome played in host the largest inflatable zone on PEI during the annual New Year's Eve celebration with a total of 14 inflatables, welcoming hundreds of smiling residents to enjoy the fun. The Active Living Division hosted its annual Christmas camp, Christmas Eve skate, and candy cane bingo, on top of hosting the popular annual Santa tour across 2 nights, covering the entire city. Their Learn to Skate program also saw 25 participants being introduced to the ice. To the same extent, December remained busy for meetings and conventions with 42 bookings, many of these being local businesses hosting their Christmas parties right here at Credit Union Place Veterans Convention Center. The Ocean 100 box office saw increased traffic over the course of the month, having launched 3 event on sales: Loverboy Kim Mitchell, Monster Spectacular, and Brett Kissel, on top of selling for 6 Summerside Western Capital home games this past month. Finally, the Confederation Bridge Aquatic Center at the Credit Union Place experienced a wide variety of programming out of its pools, with the Dolphin Swim Club, Master Swim Team, Holland College, and the PEI Physicians Group stopping in for regular program. It also held 2 sensory swims and introduced a new modified aquafit class. So overall, the department hopes everyone enjoyed the New Year's Eve celebration at Credit Union Place, looks forward to helping those with their active and healthy New Year's resolutions through its facilities, programming, and events in 2023. And this report was prepared by JP, and I want to thank him for that, and if there's any questions, we'll attempt to answer them.
Thank you, Councillor. Moving on to 7H, Councillor Gallant, representative of Municipal Services.
Your Worship, fellow councillors, residents, I'd like to thank Greg Goody for preparing the report for January 16th for Municipal Services. Public Works, Water, Sewer, Utility highlights. The department completed the grading of the ditch on Greenwood Drive on an opposite side of the Echo Park to allow proper flowing of water, since land in this area has been cleared in preparation for development. Vacant properties. Water services. With cold weather upon us, the water utility wants to remind customers to make sure that they contact the water department at 902-432-1268 for a proper water shut-off should they be vacating their homes while on vacation or away for the winter. With the freeze and thaw cycle this time of year, the traveling public is advised to be wary of potholes that can occur on the roadways. Any potholes identified should be reported to 902-432-1268 for repairs. Electrical utility highlights. Development and new connections for the electrical services to keep up the continued growth is tending high. Energy services growth for the Summerside Electrical for 2022 was at 5.5% and is expected to be higher in 2023, with the electric heat being the choice by most customers. Electrical infrastructure along Lafergie Avenue will be upgraded this month. Wastewater treatment plant. Annual prevention maintenance completed on properly clarifying the pumps, transfer pumps, grider pumps, and blowers at the Latoon. Replaced insulation on broken gaskets on the boiler fan. Replaced 1 leaky water line in the Biothan building. Public Works. Street signage repair and replacement continue this month. Road branch debris and heavy wind events were cleared several times this month. A sinkhole was repaired on Water Street East and cleaned at some sod from blowers working damage on Derby Drive. Snow removal efforts. Plowing roads 3 times, parking lots 3 times, sidewalk plowing 5 times. Salting streets 11 times, sidewalk salting 9 times, downtime cleaning time 1 hour, blowing sidewalk core 1 time. Water and sewer utility. 32 water samples were taken to clear bacteria results. 19 water reserves returned to the month. 9 sewer and water services were inspected this month. Electrical utilities. Traffic lights on Ryan and Granville Street. Street lights repaired on the Industrial Crescent, Water Street, and Gillespie Avenue. Meters changed for 2022. Radar signs on Mackenzie Drive. Traffic lights at Water Street and Central. 6 heat pumps for less were installed, and subsidized lighting repair to brackets. Power line personal efforts on Mackenzie Drive, clean up the abundance of transformers to several customers, Collin Avenue lines extension complete, streetlights upgrades to the industrial park. In closing, I would like to thank Greg for the tours that we have been doing. We were supposed to do one on Friday, but we rescheduled it to this Friday. The mayor and myself visited the wind farm and the solar panel farm. And I know Greg showed a slide show here the other day. It is nothing in comparison to actually seeing it. It is absolutely amazing. And I would like to thank Greg for his report. Any questions?
Just one. Just one, and it just, I guess, refers to way back at the start, the grading of the ditching on Greenwood Drive. Just mentioned that it was graded to allow proper flow since the area has been cleared in preparation for development. So I'm just wondering, since I don't think it was us that cleared it for development, is it us that's responsible for grading the ditch, or is it the developer that cleared the land? And maybe that's...
The ditching, what they did was they cleaned out the ditch all the way down, and that allowed the flow of water to continue down. But the land there that was all cleared off was cleared off by the developer. But the grading of the ditch would have been...
So did we have to do the ditch in because the developer was clearing the land, or we had to do it anyway?
I would say because it's holding water there. But it was from up further too, so.
Okay, I'm just wondering if we're paying for something that the developer should be
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, just to tack on there, sort of the way it reads, it'd be interesting to know, because I don't know if that was something that was planned, but now all of a sudden there's a development, which is great, or if there is a development going there. I know personally I'd received lots of questions about that clearing in that area, what was going on, and when I personally asked staff, there was no recollection of what was going on. Now we're hearing that there's possible development, so just curious as to what came first, chicken or the egg.
I will find out,
Yeah.
and I will bring it back to the February council meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just one thing, on my way in this evening, I noticed that the street lights along the boardwalk from Northumberland Street out are off. So if we could, even Kristen could pass that along. All the street lights from Kristen Street, no, from Northumberland out to along the waterfront is completely out. So.
And I've had a lot of calls on that too, and that's just recently. So I'm wondering if maybe a staff member might go out in the nighttime just to see what they're dealing with, and then when they do get there in the day, they kind of know. I don't know what's going to work there, but it's sort of been a problem for some time.
From Northumberland Street out towards it, they were off all the way out to Mackenzie Drive. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Glant. Thank you, Kristen, our acting CAO, in tonight's meeting, for following up on that. The last one here is 7I, which is, for me, is the representative of Summerside for the Federation of PEI Municipalities. Our meeting on Saturday was canceled due to hail, rain, snow, freezing rain, ice, the whole bit. So we did not travel to St. Peter's on Saturday, so I have nothing to report there, but we have a meeting scheduled for later this week. So the next council meeting, there will be something on. Yep, go ahead.
If I can just
Yep.
add to that, I've been working with staff today to come up with another meeting date, and as of before I come in here, they've asked me to hold the next 3 Saturdays, so we'd like to get it this Saturday, but we'll let everybody know by tomorrow. So we're gonna make a decision, so.
Great, thank you very much. Just a quick little note before we wrap up here. I'd like to just recognize Anthony Doyle. We have a student of Holland College joining us here today, sitting in the media gallery as a journalism student. So welcome, Anthony. Sorry, Anthony, we didn't give you any fireworks today, but maybe next time. And I'd also like to recognize Trish Altas, our MLA for Tyne Valley Sherbrooke, which encompasses part of Summerside. So thank you for joining us, folks. Motion to adjourn the meeting. So moved from Councillor Snow, second from MacDougall. Any opposed? Hearing none, we will adjourn our meeting. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thanks, everybody.